I think majority the people that I have hired do not have certification.
I think that the certificates are mainly for companies to do marketing,
Okay.
not to prove that somebody is skilled or understands what they're doing. Because in none of the conversations that I've had with sort of customers or BPOs or vendors, nobody asks me, are you certified in this?
I don't think I have any certificate, so I guess I am shit at my job.
That's
What they did have is a crazy good potential.
I've been involved in hiring processes, and I've never requested for a person to have a certificate or a degree. I want logical thinking. I want somebody that's gonna approach things with an open mind.
It's like, why the heck do we say that this is normal? And I think as an industry, we should say, ask me, let's discuss it. I think we should start rating the hiring process in companies and start socializing it from there, because honestly, we have to do better than that. So I was asking him something about how would you react if I give you feedback on the back of something that was shared with me as your manager, whatever. And he turned around and said, well, why would you give me feedback before check with me what actually happened? My work as a manager is not to slap you down and show my power. I want to do the best job for my people so they can do the best job. How many companies want external expertise just to tell them that they are right? But welcome to WFM and Filter. I'm your host, Irina, and I'm having someone joining the show again because you know what? Exactly like the host, he has a very big mouth and he's not afraid to use it. So before I give him the word to reintroduce himself, I want to quickly make two announcements. So if you enjoy the show, if you're a WFMer, if you want to support the show, please take 2 seconds to subscribe, write a rating or a review. And if you're in a need of a WFM support, just go to writewfm.com and see if we can maybe work together and do some magic. But before we talk about that highly uncomfortable topic, I would say, Ilija, how are you doing? We're staying local today on the Balkans, so what better to do on a Friday evening, guys? It's 7 my time, 10 past 7 on a Friday, and for you it's 10 past 6.
6, yeah, 10 plus
The
6.
dedication.
We're so far apart.
Yes,
It's like an hour
drive.
and yeah, like hour and a half drive.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
well, far away,
yeah,
far away. I think I can
far
wave to
away.
you probably from my window and see you, but how are you doing? Tell me what's going on.
Doing great, doing great. Unlike the last time, now I have a new role and a couple of certificates behind me because they're, you
Stop
know,
it. Tell me about
yeah,
them.
they're so important. First about my role.
Yes.
Let me take the pace. Um, I am a manager of professional and managed services. For those who don't know or understand that, manager of managed and professional services, I'm working in a BPO uh, that is actually BPO. So, not a call center, not an agent provider. We're providing managed and professional services around workforce management, their tools, and consulting on everything else in the call center.
Fancy.
Fancy new role, fancy new certificates. Yeah, certificates. So now I'm more qualified to do my job that I was actually doing before.
Actually, part of our conversation is about certification. So let me start with you because let me think. I'm not fancy enough. I don't think I have any certificates, so I guess I am shit at my job.
That's not good. That's not good.
Yeah,
That's really not good.
expensive.
Um, well, you have to have a certificate so you can prove that you understand the tool, especially if you're working in workforce management,
Right,
right?
right.
It's a requirement for whatever reason when job post is created
Mm.
uh, for you to have a certificate, and that proves the knowledge in the tool. Otherwise,
Let's start on a serious note, because often what is actually happening is companies or recruiters are publishing the job ad, and there is a big part in which in a lot of companies they do require to certification, right? Which is
Yeah.
where my whole issue kicks in, because first of all, this is a rather new concept. Second of all, I have seen some generic WFM certifications and they're absolute shit. And third of all, this is a way of companies to generate money, right? You need to pay to
Yeah.
obtain that certification. So you can already understand that there is quite a big interest for
Yep.
this. Right. On the other hand, a lot of companies actually do not have any WFM tools, but they don't require you to have an Excel certification. You just can say, yeah, I kind of know my way around Excel, and then you're magically hired. So, what kind of value do we hold in those certificates, and how can we actually prove to companies that experience it's much better than a piece of paper that I can create here within 5 minutes and start setting around?
That's a fair question. So I don't hold any values in those certificates because yeah, there is nothing to hold value to. I don't understand why they are provided.
Mhm.
They should be naturally provided for you completing a training that is not you doing your job.
Mhm.
It's you learning something. When it comes to workforce management tools, uh, it's really to the provider that's providing the tool
Mhm.
to make it easily easily navigatable, I would say, and not have these courses of 70 hours learning how to navigate to a system and then be certified in it. Because it doesn't know you understand workforce management. It just shows that you've went through a training or a course for a specific workforce management tool.
My first thought actually on this one was, maybe I do understand vendors, because especially if you're a partner, a system integrator, they do want to know that you have certain experience that then they can guarantee. But on the other hand, to be honest, if you just learn how to click and push some buttons in the tool, but you're not a WFM person, you cannot apply the process to the tool, does it really bring you that much? Is it gonna be better impression of the vendor that I just learned the sequence of buttons that I need to push? What do you think about that?
We're navigating into a dangerous territory. Our favorite, mine and yours.
Oh.
I think that the certificates are mainly for companies to do marketing around them,
Hmm. Okay.
not to prove that somebody is skilled or understands what they're doing. Because in none of the conversations that I've had with clients or customers or BPOs or vendors, nobody asks me, are you certified in this? Or do you understand how this is working?
Mhm.
We're just having a plain conversation of needs and then how we're going to fill those needs, right? So I really think that these maybe in the past, look, let's take it from the beginning. There is no kind of structured way of learning workforce management or trainings that are going to set you straight.
Yeah.
So what these companies that are vendors to software solutions for workforce management can really do is maybe instead of focusing on how you push this button and it does a thing, tell you why this thing is done and why their system is better.
Oh, that's an interesting spin. Okay, I like that, because one of my biggest issues with solution consultants, and as a user and as an independent consultant, I'm always having a big issue if I spot the solution consultant that knows a tool and doesn't know WFM. Because then I'm like, how are you going to give me approach? How are you going to help me solve my challenge that I have outside of a tool when you don't understand it, when you don't relate it? And I think it's a fair question that we don't address enough. And do a little bit of a further spin, that's also the issue that I have with a lot of support teams in WFM tools, because they know even less of the solution. They're not WFM people, they're just support people that usually takes you weeks to explain them what your actual issue is. So the quality seems to be like, me.
Hands on working with some of those teams on one or another side. Um, that's really, really true. And I don't know if it's on purpose or if it's just not paying attention
Mhm.
or not having people exposed enough to what the solution is. And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about technical things. Like, we're not talking about coding or APIs or blah, blah, blah. We're talking about a simple, as a user, how this tool is functioning. I don't know why companies provide customer support that is created to routing tickets instead of providing a solution.
Right. So, okay, then let's take a step back and just reroute to the certification, because I just had a sudden thought. The reason why certificates are also a way to attract people is because people
Okay.
want to know that they have achieved something from a psychological perspective. They want to know that they are differentiated by others, that not everyone is having that. So I think it's very attractive to say, okay, if you
Huh.
finalize this course or this thing, you get a certificate. And it's fair, right? It's fair. If you have put some efforts, you need to get some sort of reward. The question is, can we and how do we secure a good enough structure and knowledge coming out of those certifications? So you are actually, if you're in the competition for a job, you are the more skilled person, not because of the paper, but because you know something more than a person that work with that tool or in that area but does not have certification, uh, doesn't have.
See, that's the difference between you and me now. You don't have a certificate. I have a certificate.
Oh, shut
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
You get
Uh,
out. You get out.
I'm gonna say the same thing again. Like, these certifications and trainings need to have something workforce management logically explained wise in the tool itself and in the training itself. And I'm saying this only and only because I was working in an ex company and I wasn't that there was no requirement for me to be certified in that company in their tool. Uh, and the requirement became a requirement only when I decided to branch off
Mhm.
and not work in that ex company. Um, so even that is a backwards logic to me because you can use those certificates and those trainings to train your customer support.
Yeah, I agree with you. But then, as a current manager, and this is one thing that I am curious about, I am a hiring manager. I have been a hiring manager for many, many years before I became consultant. And I think majority of the people that I have hired, first of all, did not have certification. That's a given, right? Because back at the time, that thing wasn't even existing. But they didn't even have an experience. What they did have is a crazy good potential, the analytical thinking, the communication. And I knew that if we invest in these people, they can grow so much that I would probably work better with them than somebody who is stuck in the ways to know certain things.
Yep.
And that's why I'm a bit struggling understanding why can't we pass that initial step, which is the recruiter, that sometimes are very hang on that you need to have a certificate. And now let's jump on your favorite topic, which is a university degree and how important that
Oh,
is.
come on, come on, come on.
And certi-
I've been involved in like hiring processes And I've never requested for a person to have a certificate or a degree. I want logical thinking. I want somebody that's going to approach things with an open mind. I don't want somebody that's going to be stuck in the ways that I tell him to see things. And knowing how to push a button in a software solution doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, not to mention that are being redone, the interface changes, maybe the button holds on a
Always.
different spot in the tool, so your knowledge can quickly get outdated. But for everyone that is currently confused, why are we talking so much about it? I have just mentioned prior to the recording that I have sometimes couple of times been reached out by recruiters, and at the moment that they hear that I don't have a generic WFM certification, it's like no. It's like so what is it that you think I don't know, even though my entire background in this space? Well, we just want certificate. What for? And probably those certificates, to be honest, are created by people with less experience than me. Not to
Probably.
say that everyone is like that. Let's not do that. There is probably very good programs out there. I have personally not invested into being part of them, but I'm curious. Let's everyone who is listening to that tell us: are they helpful? What does they give you? Is there anyone that you would recommend that is actually working? And on the other hand, let's talk back to the degrees. So
To the college
to the
degree.
college degrees. Especially what I have seen in Western Europe, some companies are very hung on you need to have a degree. Um, Luckily, I'm gonna say this one now. I have a marketing degree, and zero times, zero, it had helped me with anything workforce related, but I was ticking a box. And this is the annoying part that apparently it separates you from other people. Maybe it does make you seem smarter. I don't know.
It
But thi-
does. It does.
this is the thing. Even as a manager, I disagree. So let me tell you, I have to choose between two people, right? They're
Yeah.
the same age. One has zero practical experience, but a degree in something completely
Nice.
unrelated. The other one has the X amount of years practical experience. I don't understand why the guy or the girl with the practical experience would be disqualified. So I can just be presented with someone with the music degree or something that does not correspond to workforce management.
See, uh, as the difference with me having a certificate and you not. Now we're at the difference you having a degree and me not. Um,
And just let oh, hold on, let me stop you here. You wouldn't even make it to show your certificate because you were college.
because I don't have a college degree.
I
See,
will be
see,
disqualified second.
it's not fair.
Not be
It's not
disqualified
fair.
first.
It's not fair. So that means like my certificate in the solution makes me a better workforce manager, or your degree in X thing makes you a better
I'm not
workforce manager. It really doesn't. It really doesn't matter. Um, your degree at marketing makes you great at marketing, amongst other things, and my certificate at a software solution makes me great at knowing to click a button.
it does help.
Yeah,
This
yeah, it really helps. I agree.
what how the heck what do we do? Because this starts to really annoy me in recruitment process. I have also spent a lot of time with people that are truly amazing, skilled, people with great potential, and they are just stuck in a first interview with a recruiter, and they're like not being able to pass it because you see they just can't show whatever requirement A or B is.
Depends on the role that you're being hired for. I really think that entry level roles shouldn't require anything, really anything, not let alone a certificate in a specific tool. If you go into a management role, then maybe experience or a certificate would be nice. I've seen a lot of companies in our realm of BPOs and you name it. do testing and require work. I've been into a couple of loops of a favorite company of mine, favorite, where I did free work
Mhm.
uh, in an interview
Yeah.
process. And then I saw my work implemented in their environment, and I said never again. So yeah,
Mm.
that's that. There's that trend as well. Here is an Excel, and then you complete the task, and you know how it is afterwards.
Okay, actually, we had a topic that is completely unrelated to that, but we've been just nagging before the recording, and we decided randomly to do an episode for WFM and Filter. That's one thing that I've been thinking for the past probably good 6 months that starts to really, really rub me the wrong way. And to anyone who is interested in becoming a solution consultant, I'm going to give you a little bit of the info from the kitchen. So, usually the process can be quite heavy unless you know someone on the inside. So first, of
Oh,
course, you go interview with, let's say, a recruiter. Then you go to an interview with, let's say, a consultant and the director of whatever it is. And usually, the third step is a case that you need to prepare for a presentation or something, and they give you like that very good case of this is going wrong and this is going wrong. So you need to take that case away, work it out, and present it to a couple of people, two people, five people, the whole team, or whatever. And it starts to freaking rub me the wrong way because this is the definition of performing free work because you are giving
exactly.
solutions that currently the company might be struggling to get. You are presenting that solutions, and honestly, most of the time people don't even have the decency to come back with the feedback saying, you know what, we
Exactly.
chose X, we chose Y, or we like this, we didn't like that. So I know that this is an existing process throughout many industries, including
Oh yeah.
art. You're supposed to draw something
Oh
and
yeah.
present it. But it's like, why the heck do we say that this is normal? And I think as an industry, we should say, ask me, let's discuss it.
Yeah.
And if you don't like my answer, that's fine. But requiring to create a presentation, lose your time, invest, and your brain, and your potentially unique selling point and your knowledge, and then be
I
taken away. It's like a no, no. So, do we have to be a little bit more vocal, give more shit to vendors or companies?
100% yes. First of all, the market for workforce, like natural workforce, is not set by companies or vendors or whatever.
Mhm.
It's by the workers that are searching for that job. So if 100 of us apply, you are supposed to entertain a couple because you select the candidates,
Yeah,
right? Um, Imagine if you, let's say there are three
yeah,
candidates, you give all three of them a different task that's gonna conclude to a whole project for your company for free.
freaking annoying. I would be recruiting all the freaking time because then you just get your job being done.
So imagine all of these companies now that are all around the year searching for a workforce manager, for a capacity planner, for a scheduler, and those job posts are sitting there and are sitting there and are sitting there, and nobody gets hired.
And in the end, isn't that the reason why we have trials, right? You believe based.
Yeah, you give me a specific time frame, like that's the point of an agreement or a contract, giving a person that you hire a 1 month period or a 3 months period trial to see if they're gonna fit in the environment first, and then the role that is given.
I just had a flashback. A couple of years ago, I was applying for a job, and it was a senior position, but
Did they request from you to create a capacity plan for them?
no, 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 no. It was actually worse. It had, I think, 5 steps. So it was one of these lengthy interviews. So I had to go being interviewed by literally every single person and team in that company. Then there was a round of those tests that are, first of all, they are 4 times. So every question was, I think, 30 seconds. And then it was so heavy. Like there was different sections. So it was a couple of hours. Then there was the case. Then this is what you have to present. You go away, you make the PowerPoint, and then you work across the PowerPoint, and they're asking you questions. And after that, you have another interview, which was the final step with the whoever, and then they decide. And I was thinking, you know what? First of all, if you're looking for a job, regardless if you don't have a job or if you do have, it's stressful. There are reasons why you're looking for a job, right?
Yep.
You're already applying probably back and forth and looking around. There's go that, like, if you have to go through such process for every single company that you're applying for, you wouldn't even have the time in the day to do that. So I just don't think it's fair. I think we should start rating the hiring process in companies and start socializing it from there, because honestly, we have to do better than that.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Any tips? Any
Um,
what can we do about it?
I I love the input that you gave for having a conversation, and if the right questions are asked on an interview, you would know if a person's suitable or not. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. You don't have to go through create me this in Excel and then this presentation and then come present it as in a quarterly meeting, because we're not doing a quarterly meeting, and I don't know how your organization functions, and I don't know what you want me to say, because at the end of the day, I'm presenting this as I feel comfortable and not suited to your organization.
You know what? I'm thinking about it now, and the best person that I have ever hired. First of all, I was asking him difficult questions and stuff. It was very apparent he has knowledge. But the reason I hired him actually was that on the interview, he dared to challenge me directly.
Oh,
Yes, so
good
I
move.
was asking him one of I like difficult questions. So I was asking him something about how would you react if I give you a feedback on the back of something that was shared with me as your manager, whatever. And he turned around and said, "Oh, why would you give me feedback before check with me what actually happened?" And he was just, I actually love that he is bold enough to challenge me, because my work as a manager is not to slap you down and to show my power. My work is
Exactly.
to do the best job for my people so they can do the best
Exactly.
job. So this was the moment when I knew I'm gonna hire this guy. So it had nothing to do with his skills in workforce management or whatever. And to be honest, currently, if you don't have a knowledge, I would much rather know that you know where to get for answers and how to get them,
Yep.
rather than, oh, I know what the formula and how it works in Excel. So show me and you're hired.
Yep. Definitely. Definitely. And all of this can be tied to our past conversation. Um, and there are a lot of companies that are going to be searching for people that are going to be saying yes and not disobeying them. Um, which is funny to me because the nature of the role is not to be obedient,
What do you think the nature of the role is then?
to provide a realistic picture of what's happening, which a lot of companies kind of don't like.
You know what? That's another thing for everyone that wants to become an independent consultant. I would say, not even independent, work as a consultant. It's a fun thing how many companies want external expertise just to tell them that they are right. And at the moment
Yep.
when you provide them with an actual report or a solution, or to show them what's not working, not only they don't trust you anymore because you're saying something different,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
they absolutely not appreciate your contribution and they probably would never work with you again.
Yep.
So interesting that you're saying that the nature of the job is not to be obedient because that's what a lot of companies, in fact, do require. Okay.
And I've had cases like this, even when consulting.
Mhm.
I've had cases in my team when they were consulting. The client just asks you to fix the system to match their numbers.
Oh, yeah, that's my favorite.
Uh,
Yeah.
like, why would you want to do that? But
Because
nonetheless,
this
because we don't look, we cannot, like, I cannot argue against that because probably I don't have a degree.
Well, there you go. There you go. Some food for thought for the
Uh,
both of us on Friday. I'll get some certificates. You go get yourself some degree. But actually, the purpose of this conversation, which we're going to leave for a third episode, was to speak about BPOs and what's kind of happening on not only our side of the world, but with BPOs in general. But I think this one I would make it even a little bit more vocal. Maybe we can create some webinar or even start creating some community that we are rating the interview process so people are prepared and they know what and how much time they have to invest slash waste. Or maybe companies should start paying attention to
yeah.
how to conduct those interview processes.
It's funny how we started talking about BPOs, or the idea of BPOs and outsourcing and the changes in the world, and we ended up to certificates and degrees. Yeah.
It's how it is. That's why I'm saying everyone who is ever scared to join WFM and Filter, I'm always saying it's not a freaking interview. It's a friendly conversation. Where
Oh,
we start probably is not going to be where we actually
oh
are
yeah.
and where we end. But thank you so much for spending your Friday evening with me.
Oh, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. Definitely.
Likewise, despite the shit you've been giving me for my lack of qualifications, but you'll be forgiven. But stay tuned because this guy is very, very good. He is amazing. And I'll reach out to you, Ilija, for potentially a webinar on the topic. But
Ooh,
let's start putting some
ooh.
content out there about the recruiting process from the inside, not from recruiter perspective. Thanks for joining me today and
My pleasure. My pleasure.
thanks for joining us today. I'm your host, Irina Mateva, founder of Right WFM, where we believe that every business and its people are unique and deserve the right solution to their challenges. If you need support with workforce management, we're just a message away. Get in touch at Irina at rightwfm.com or info at rightwfm.com. If you like the content and would like to support the show, please subscribe to WFM Unfiltered on your favorite podcast platform, leave a review, and follow me on LinkedIn. You can also show some love to our great sponsors. For more information about them, check out the episode notes. This is your place for real WFM, so to suggest guests or topics, get in touch at Irina at rightwfm.com. See ya!